All right, friends, let's go towards the third important point about the upper end, that is the greater trochanter. Trochanter. Let me show you there. This is the femur bone, right? The femur, this part, right? This quadrate shape eminence, bony eminence is called the greater trochanter, and here we have a cone shape eminence. This is called the lesser trochanter, if you can watch here, and otherwise I will show you in the video about the bone itself, right? So the greater trochanter is actually the quadrangular bony eminence. It is quadra means 4, quadrangular eminence, or we say prominence, right? Then the next important point about it, that it is located at upper part of junction of the neck and with the shaft. So look carefully. Here we have the neck, and here we have downward the shaft. So this greater trochanter is actually located at the upper part of the junction between the neck and the shaft. That's quite simple. Look carefully. The greater trochanter is located at the upper part of the junction of the neck and the shaft, right? It is located at upper part of junction of neck and shaft, right, friends? Then about it, some important points. First of all, it has border and surfaces, and it has only one border, and it has, my dear friends, surfaces. So how many borders? Only one border, and this border has an upper pointed part, and this is called the apex of it, right? So this is greater trochanter, and this is the apex. So I will show you in the video. The upper border has the apex of the greater trochanter. Then there are surfaces, and how many surfaces it has, I will write here, then I will show you. It has an anterior surface, then it has a medial surface, and it has a lateral surface, right? And it has a medial surface and a lateral surface. Now let's see it. Here is the bone itself, right? There is the, first of all, there we have written the anterior surface, then there is the lateral surface, and then there is the medial surface. So this is the medial surface of it, this is the lateral surface, this is the anterior surface. The anterior surface is a little bit rough in nature, right? The anterior surface is a little bit rough in nature, right? It's a little bit rough. Okay, friends, and then we say that the medial surface has a small depression, has a cavity, and this is called the trochanteric fossa. So if you can see it here, look here, this is the depressed part, right? This is the depression. So this part is called the trochanteric fossa. So medial surface has depressed trochanteric fossa there, right? And the lateral, about lateral surface, there are not so much important points. So the anterior surface is rough, the medial surface has trochanteric fossa, and then there is the lateral surface. So how many borders the greater trochanter has? It has only one border, and it has an apex in it. And how many surfaces? Anterior surface, medial surface, and lateral surface. Done about the greater trochanter. Now we move towards the lesser trochanter, and let's talk about the lesser trochanter also. The fourth one, lesser trochanter. Okay, actually the lesser trochanter, we say that it is a conical shape eminence or prominence, right? Conical shape prominence. Okay, the next point about it is that it is located medially and backwards. Look carefully, if this is the bone, right, the right femur, this is the lesser trochanter, right, and this lesser trochanter, if you see in the video, it is located medially towards the midline and backwards, right, medially and backwards, right. So this is about the lesser trochanter, nothing else, but it's a conical shape prominence, and it is located medially and backward. Okay, we came up to here, the 4 points. Now there is the intertrochanteric line and intertrochanteric crest. Now let's see it here. The line is anteriorly, the crest is posteriorly. That's so simple. The line is anteriorly and the crest is posteriorly. So look carefully here. Here is the line, the intertrochanteric line, and then there is intertrochanteric crest. That's so simple. Okay, let's do it also. There is the intertrochanteric line. I will write it here. Intertrochanteric line, right, and then there is the intertrochanteric crest. Now let's see about the intertrochanteric line. The intertrochanteric line is present between the junction of the anterior surface of the neck with the shaft. Look carefully. This is the anterior surface of the neck, right? Okay, like this, sorry. This is the anterior surface of the neck, and this is the shaft, right? So this is the intertrochanteric line. So this intertrochanteric line is actually the junction between the anterior surface of the neck and the shaft. That's so simple. It is the junction between anterior surface of neck and shaft, right, where it begins. That's very important point. The beginning point is here and the end point is here. So we say it begins at the tubercle of the greater trochanter and ends at the spiral line. So there is the spiral line of this bone, which we will discuss while we discuss about the shaft of the bone. Okay, so we say it begins at the tubercle of the greater trochanter and ends at the spiral line. Let's write these important points first of all. It begins at tubercle of greater trochanter, right, and ends at spiral line, right friends. Okay, this was about the intertrochanteric line. Now about the intertrochanteric crest. Intertrochanteric crest. Actually this intertrochanteric crest is located backward. It is located behind, right, posteriorly, and the line is located anteriorly, the crest is located posteriorly. So we say intertrochanteric crest is actually the junction between the posterior surface of the neck and the shaft. This line was junction between anterior surface and neck, and this crest is junction between posterior surface of neck, right, of neck and shaft, right friends. And where it begins, so we say it begins at the posterior superior angle. Okay, let's hold it like this. This is the posterior superior angle of the greater tubercle, right? And it ends at the lesser tubercle. It ends at the lesser tubercle. So let's write it here. It begins at posterior superior angle of what? It begins at the posterior superior angle of greater tubercle trochanter and ends at lesser trochanter. Right, friends? Okay, and this intertrochanteric crest contains a very special point, and that is called the quadrate tubercle, which I will show you. It contains quadrate tubercle. Right, friends? Okay, this was about the theory of this upper end of the femur bone. Let's first repeat. The upper end has a head, it has a neck, it has a greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, intertrochanteric line and intertrochanteric crest, right? The head, this was the detail of the head. Then there is the detail of the neck, right? The neck has two borders and two surfaces, which we have discussed here. The greater trochanter has border which has an apex, and the greater trochanter has three surfaces, which I will show in the video. Then there is the lesser trochanter, and then there is the intertrochanteric line and intertrochanteric crest. Right, friends? So these 6 important points are about the upper end of this femur bone. Okay, we will discuss about the shaft in the next coming lecture. Right, friends? So this was about the theory. Now let's go and see all these parts in a practical video. Thank you so much.